Hey everybody, how you doing today? I am going to go off the rails a little bit today. As I've said before, I rarely talk about politics on my channel, but today we're going to get into it. The reason I'm making this video is because I'm seeing an alarming trend in believers today, and it is just one more instance where secular culture is seeping into us as believers. Okay, so let me just start at the beginning. And another reason why I want to make this video is because people are constantly assuming that they know what I believe. So I'm going to actually take a minute and tell you what I believe. And no more assumptions, okay? So anyways, I did vote for Donald Trump. I support him as my president. I see that in his year in office, he has really done some incredible things. However, I am still a little perturbed at the fact that I have no insurance or no affordable options for my insurance. So that's my main concern with Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump is admittedly not the most well-spoken person. Does that mean he's stupid? Absolutely not. I think Donald Trump is brilliant. I think that Donald Trump is not eloquent. And there is a huge difference between that, you guys. There is a very big difference between being smart and having a good vocabulary. Okay, the two do not always coincide. Okay, some of the most brilliant people in the world have a very, very hard time communicating because so much is going on in their head. Now, that is not me saying that Trump is brilliant. I am just saying that it doesn't mean he's not brilliant because he has a little vocabulary. The two just don't go. They don't go hand in hand. I mean, look at me. I'm not a stupid person. I have a very hard time articulating what it is that's up here sometimes. Okay? But I'm not a stupid person. I consider myself to be a very knowledgeable person. I try to stay very savvy to what's going on in politics. I try to live my politics through my faith. And that's what this video is going to be about. How are your politics affecting your faith? Or what kind of witness are you to your faith when you talk about politics? Because this is a really, really big issue, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to start at the beginning so that you guys even know where this whole video is coming from. Okay, so I follow Doug Hamp, who is not a Trump supporter. He has his reasons why he doesn't support Trump. Whether or not his reasons are valid to me is not relevant. He is an American citizen. He is not only entitled to, but therefore has to stand accountable to his beliefs, okay? So those are his beliefs. If he does not support Trump, whether or not I think his reasons for not supporting Trump are irrelevant. They're his reasons. They mean something to him, okay? Just like the person who supports Hillary. Those things mean something to them. And it doesn't mean that we can't have a conversation with somebody who doesn't think the same thing we think, okay? But as believers, that conversation should have a different tone completely. There should be no pride in that conversation. There should be no what's the word I'm looking for? Contention. There should be no contentious spirit in that conversation. There should be no belittling or looking down your nose at somebody else because they don't agree with what you're saying. And this is what I'm seeing. Okay, so anyways, laying that groundwork, Doug Hamp posted a picture about a week ago, and it had something to do with Trump, and it was a joke. It was a meme, okay? And even though I didn't agree with the picture said, I casually moved along. I'm like, okay, I'm not getting involved in this one. Why? Because it's not my job to defend Donald Trump against Doug Hamp. Doug Hamp has his own beliefs. and they're his beliefs, and it's also his page, and he should be able to post whatever in the world he wants to post about Donald Trump. He will stand accountable for whatever he posts. It's not my job to get in there and make sure that Doug Hamp believes what I believe. It's not my job. And it's not your job either. And this is what I'm seeing. Okay, so anyways, I was like, well, I don't necessarily agree with that. But one thing that it did tell me is that Doug Hamp is not a Trump supporter. Okay, now, even though I am a Trump supporter, I definitely am honest about Trump's shortcomings. And one of his shortcomings is his mouth. He needs a padlock put on his mouth because he says things that incite emotions in people. Okay? Sometimes he says things that are not true. Sometimes he says things that are unfounded. Sometimes he accuses people of things. And these are all very bad things in and of themselves. Okay? These are all very bad things. It is not a good thing when our president is proved to be lying about something. It is also not a good thing when he has been proven wrong on something and does not come out and apologize for having said it in the first place. This is called slander. Okay? It's very prevalent in politics. And the reason why I'm making this video today is because so many believers are actually slandering people and they're not working in truth. They're not operating in truth. Okay? So this is a problem. So anyways, like I was saying, even though I support Trump, I think that this is a very big pitfall with Trump. Okay? Because it puts him in a very bad position. I would love for somebody to shut his Twitter account. His Twitter account gets him in more trouble than anything. So every good thing that Donald Trump does can easily be undone by the wrong tweet. Okay, there's so much power in social media. I was watching a show the other day. Who was it? Oh, it was with Bill Whittle. And he said that the basic difference between progressives and conservatives on Trump. Okay? Progressives take Donald Trump literally, but they don't take him seriously. They don't take him seriously because they don't think he's smart. But they take every word that comes out of this man's mouth as gospel. Okay? That's a progressive's point of view. The conservative takes Donald Trump very serious, but he doesn't take him literally. So when Donald Trump most of the time posts something that most people will cringe at, that I even cringe at, he's doing it for a reason, and he knows that his base is not going to take what he said literally. Okay, so that's basically the difference. I heard that and I was just like, very interesting point of view, you know, because it does change how we look at things, okay? It changes how we look at things. So when he says he's going to build a wall and a progressive looks at that and it says, oh, he's a racist, because they're taking everything. Okay, so he says the bad elements are coming through the border, the drugs and all of this stuff, they're coming through the border and blah, 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 blah. The progressive takes that very literally. The progressive hears that every person coming through the border is a drug abuser or a drug pusher or a rapist or a murderer. That's what the progressive hears. That's not what the conservative hears. The conservative hears what he's actually saying. Okay, so I'm not going to get too much into the weeds, because you know what I believe about Trump is really irrelevant to you and what you believe about Trump, and that's what I'm just going to try and stay on course and get through this. Okay, so anyways, knowing that Doug felt the way that he felt, I was sifting through my feed one day and I came across a meme, and it was on Monday, and the tagline said, I believe ... that this deserves to be posted. And I looked at the picture and it was Martin Luther King, and it had Trump with his Twitter account open, and it had Martin Luther King putting his hand over his mouth. Now, to me, that was funny. It was funny. And I'm even a Trump supporter, but that was funny. Why? Because I'm honest about the fact that his Twitter account is a problem and somebody needs to just stop Donald Trump. I posted this picture and I tagged Doug Hamp in it. And I said, I thought you'd get a chuckle out of this. And he did get a chuckle out of it. Okay, here's the thing. I am able to laugh at Trump's shortcomings, even as a Trump supporter. And you should be too. But what it actually unleashed was a lot of people who immediately deflected from Trump by posting one horrible statistic after another about Hillary Clinton and just really stirred up. I mean, they seriously got triggered by this meme. It's a freaking joke. Where have we come as people that we can't joke about things that are honest anymore? You know, one of my favorite things as a person, and it makes me the least politically correct person I know, I love stereotypes. I love them. I think they're funny. I'm not afraid to say they're funny. I think it's funny when black people call white people crackers. And I think it's funny when, you know, people pick on Chinese people for being bad drivers. I think that stuff is funny. Why is it funny? Because it's real. It's real. It's actually looking at people's shortcomings and saying, now that's funny, you know, because we all have them. Okay, Donald Trump's shortcoming is his Twitter account. It gets him in so much trouble. Okay, and I understand both sides of the argument as to why he uses the social media and why he shouldn't use the social media. It's all irrelevant. Basically, what my video is about today is how are you coming across when you talk about politics? And first off, are you so triggered by a joke meme that you have to spend 20 minutes of your day pointing out everything that Hillary Clinton did? I know what Hillary Clinton did wrong. She's, in my opinion, Hillary Clinton is the last person I would want sitting in the White House, which is exactly why I voted for Trump. I didn't vote for Trump because I was overwhelmingly impressed with his vernacular, his vocabulary, his statuesque. I wasn't enamored with any of that stuff. I voted for Trump to keep Hillary out of the White House. Okay? Because in my opinion, Hillary is a very dangerous person. That's just all there is to it. There's so much information out there about Hillary Clinton that makes me not definitely condemn her, okay? Because the reality is there's no proof of anything right now. So all we have is speculation. But it does change your opinion of who Hillary Clinton looks like to you in your eyes. You know, if you have any kind, you don't generally hang out with the kid that has the pigpen dust cloud hanging around them. And Hillary has the pigpen dust cloud hanging around her. Okay? So that's just all there is to it. But I was really shocked at not only, and it's not only that people take the time and have to come in and defend Trump. Okay? That's fine. Okay? But you're a professed believer, and now you are coming in with a condescending attitude. Like, how dare you pick on Trump? Don't you know anything about Hillary Clinton and what she did? Seriously, that's kind of how your comments come across. They don't come across as somebody who's willing to have a discussion with somebody. First off, you come in accusing and attacking because I put the picture up in the first place, not knowing that I'm a Trump supporter, but that I actually have a sense of humor and that I actually still believe in honesty. And if we're going to be honest, Trump is a buffoon when it comes to his Twitter account. Okay? That's all there is to it. And is it that Trump is saying things that I wouldn't want to say myself? No. There's tons of things that Trump says that I say myself. But coming from his position of power, it comes off differently. Okay? It's wrapped in a different package. And that's just all there is to it. Okay? We expect our president to be a representative of us, you know? So we're going to hold them accountable and to a higher standard. That's not to say that we don't hold Obama accountable, that we don't hold George Bush accountable, one or two, that we don't hold Clinton accountable. Every one of them needed to be held accountable. And this is one of my biggest points. Okay, if we get to a point where we're not holding Trump accountable when he does something wrong, or when he does something that we don't like, here's the reality. We are no better than the Obama supporters who celebrated and stood by Obama simply based on the fact that they had the same skin color. Okay? We're no better. He is a representative of us, and we have every right to demand that he act appropriately. Okay? That's just my personal opinion. But here's the deal, and here's the scary thing, is we have believers out there who take this stuff too far. I was called unstable today because I was told that I have to have the last word on my thread. You came on my post that you weren't tagged in. You came on my post that you weren't tagged in. You wanted to school me on Hillary Clinton, not realizing that I am an avid opposer of Hillary Clinton, not realizing that I was a supporter of Donald Trump, because you assumed that just because I was making fun of him meant that I wasn't a supporter of him. And then you came in with a condescending attitude like I knew nothing and I'm totally uninformed, and then you called me unstable. Because I don't agree with everything, or because I don't support Trump enough. Well, that's a very social justice warrior attitude. It's the problem that we have in this country today. Okay? As believers, we should not be getting so triggered about stuff like this. Okay? Look at something, if you don't agree with it, move along. If you can't edify somebody through God on what you just saw, then what are you even doing? I have no use for all this secular knowledge. I don't care about it. All I care about what I can see and what I can decipher. That's all I care about. And as far as caring who runs our country, I could care less who runs our country. I really could. Because here's the deal. The faster they burn this thing down, the faster my Messiah comes back. Okay? So I don't care about any of that stuff. I really don't. I'm going to do my part as a citizen, as a steward, and I'm going to vote. And I'm going to vote for the person who I think is going to do the least amount of damage in the least amount of time. You know what I mean? It's like Hillary Clinton was no way fit to be our president. Just because she looks like a president, she's in no way fit to be our president. There's so much drama and conspiracy surrounding her. She was in no way worthy of being our president. Now, we can't say that Donald Trump is not worthy of being our president because he has a small vocabulary, or because he has little hands, or because he's orange, or because he has a bad comb over. We cannot do that. We have to look at what Donald Trump has done in his own life. We have to look. Let me tell you something. The biggest difference between Trump and anybody who's been the president in the last 20 years is that Trump's actually done something with his life. He has created and built something. Okay, we have to get out of this mindset that just because somebody knows the laws and has been in politics forever, that nobody else belongs in politics. Let me tell you something. Obama was a constitutional scholar. And we watched him twist that Constitution for 8 years. Why did he do that? Because he had the know-how to do that. So when you're talking about putting somebody in charge who is versed in international law, that just means they know how to get around all the ins and outs of international law. It doesn't mean that somebody like me or even you could not learn what you need to know to be the president of this country. This country was set up to where anybody could be the president. Anybody who's a natural citizen. Okay? It was never set, this country was never set up to be ran by lawyers, and that's what it is. Look at the pedigree of every single politician over the last 50, 60 years. Go back 50 or 60 years. Every single one of them. Some kind of law student. Went to law school. Our country is run by lawyers. You know? Trump actually built something. He built businesses. And yes, he claimed bankruptcy. And guess what? So did I. I have 3 bankruptcies under my belt. And thank God that they were there. Okay? We have to get out of this mindset that you have to be a certain type of person to sit in the White House. Let me tell you something. All of those people's proved that with all of their pedigrees and all of their law certificates, that they were just as morally bankrupt as most of the people in this country. Okay? So, I just want to take a minute and ask you, when you speak about politics, are you able to maintain your status in the kingdom? Okay? Because we need to be able to talk about things. We need to be able to discuss things. Even when we disagree, we can learn things from each other. Okay? The worst part about this situation today is that nothing was confirmed before they went on the attack. And I'm going to tell you something. That's slanderous. What you did is slanderous, okay? To make a joke about somebody, it's really not a big deal. Okay, it's something that a lot of us in this country feel that he takes advantage of Twitter and uses his Twitter too much and causes a lot of problems by doing so. So the picture was simply mocking that aspect of Donald Trump. But it got escalated to a point where people were assuming things about each other and calling each other names. And I think that is where we go off the rails. You know, it's never okay to do that, you guys. It's not okay to do that. And if you can't talk about politics and maintain a sense of respect, then don't talk about politics. And for God's sakes, can we just keep in mind that just because somebody shows up on a Facebook feed somewhere and you're able to type a message to them, that doesn't mean you know that person. You don't know me. You don't know what I do. You don't know what I think. You don't know what I believe. And you immediately accuse and start attacking me on what I posted. It's not right. That's not right. And then you come back and you say, well, I read through the feed and it sounds like you're the one who's triggered. How am I triggered? I'm the one who posted the damn picture. How am I triggered? You're the one who did not have the will and the state of mind to just go, whatever. You're the one who couldn't do that. So ask yourself, why? Why couldn't you just leave it alone? Why couldn't you just walk away? I see things every day that I don't agree with. And I just walk away. Because it's not my job to change your mind on things. It's not my job. Every one of us has to live and learn our lessons and come to where they were. At 20 years old, I was voting Democrat. I was a Democrat up until Obama's first term. Obama made me a conservative. And I wouldn't even say I'm a conservative. I'm more a libertarian than anything. You know? I'm a libertarian. I believe that we are born free. We need to be free. And the only thing that we need to be accountable for is to God. That's what I believe. So everything and anything that we do as believers should be filtered through Him and filtered through His words. And I will be honest, I have seen things come out of even the pastor's mouth that I don't agree with, that I think were uncalled for, that I think, you know what, that's contention. This is no longer a conversation. This is contention. So every single one of us, from the top to the bottom, has to evaluate. Take a minute before you react. Take a minute to think about your response. Take a minute to think about standing in front of the King and having to be accountable for what you just said. And for all, for God's sakes, if I've said something here that has convicted you, then repent, because you were wrong. If you're convicted right now, it means that you, like me, have done something wrong and you need to repent for it. This is one of those situations that I have evolved into, because I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't always used to feel this way. And even during the campaign, I didn't feel this way. But I have really come to a point now where I feel like we need to stop looking at each other and pointing fingers at each other and accusing each other, and we need to talk to each other. The bottom line is it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or a Republican, okay? You guys care about the exact same things. You care about security. You care about the economy. You care about whether or not your kids are safe in school. We all care about the same things. The difference comes in how we want to fix those things, okay? So stop assuming that just because somebody doesn't agree with your method of fixing a problem doesn't mean they don't care about the problem. I see this all the time with the left telling us that Republicans or conservatives, they don't care about the environment. They don't care about oil. They don't care about clean environments and water and all of this stuff. Well, that's just ridiculous. I do care about those things. But I don't believe that forcing a tax upon people is going to make those things change. And I furthermore do not believe that you give a bloated, overinflated government more power that they're going to fix the climate. Okay? I don't believe that for a minute. And if you do, then you should probably do a little bit more research. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not going to tell you you're stupid. I'm not going to make you feel stupid, but I'm just saying that you need to look at some other possibilities. You know? Anyways, this video has gotten way too long, and I think I've made my point. In everything we do as believers, we need to filter it through the eyes of God. Okay? He's not going to understand you calling your sister unstable because she doesn't agree with what you've said. He's not going to understand that. And it's just rude, and it's mean-spirited, and it's not of God. Okay? It's when you don't have a valid argument for what you're saying, because this person has come and told you that she is a Trump supporter, that she does agree with most of the things you said, and now you don't have an argument for the way you've been talking. That's your go-to. Call them unstable. Well, that's no different than somebody calling me a racist because I don't believe that Black Lives Matter is not a terrorist organization. That's like somebody calling me a bigot because I shouldn't have to make a wedding cake for a gay couple, even though I don't care who sleeps with who. You know? It's the same exact thing. It's you not having a valid argument, so now you're just going to insult. And that is not of God, my sweet sister. That is not of God. Okay? I hope that you will all take this to heart, because I see this everywhere in our society. We need to understand that this is even bigger than Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. This is a anger a spirit of anger and contention that has been let loose in our world just in the last 2-3 years. Okay? There is a spirit that is roaming this planet. And brothers and sisters need to start recognizing it for what it is. Okay? Because it is rifling through the Messianic and Christian communities. Nobody can talk to anybody. Nobody can say anything. And let me tell you one more thing. The government doesn't need to control our speech because we're starting to do it ourselves. We are shutting down free speech because we're afraid to say what we want to say. Okay? I should be able to post anything. You should be able to post anything. And there's a big difference between assuming that somebody is wrong and assuming that they're an idiot because it sounds like they don't agree with what you believe. Okay? You can't do that to people. It's not proper. It's not proper as a believer. I'm sorry. And I think a lot of believers, especially in the Messianic communities, I mean, it's like a bloodbath in the Messianic community. It's unbelievable how much fighting, arguing, striving, and how much pride is just... Every single one of us needs to get on our knees and repent. Because the more groups you're in, I guarantee this, the more groups you're in, the more people that you're talking to that you don't actually know or have a connection with on your Facebook, the more misery, the more strife, and the more contention you have in your life. I guarantee it. It's not edifying you. It's eating you. I love you all. Have a blessed day, and shalom.